the fifth critical choice I made, well, first up, these four choices led me to, they built, for me, it was linear, each built upon each other to prepare me for the fifth choice, which was to embrace my boundless capacity to give love and to receive love. And the distinction I want to make as we get into this last part of the dialogue is the distinction I want to make is love is an emotion and love the verb. Love as an emotion isn't really a choice. We feel it when we feel it. Love as a verb is a choice. And how we give and receive love as an action, love as a verb, manifests itself in different ways for different people at different times. And I know that, and I always appreciate learning that from people. And you've peppered in things in this dialogue around that. So I want to get your insight into, think about or reflect on, and I know you have, a time in which you've chosen to give all of your love. What does that feel like when you do? And if you want to share with us what that time was, awesome, but you don't have to. But what does it feel like?
It feels both extremely empowering and liberating at the same time. Like the relief of giving yourself permission to love, I think is really powerful. And I think what's really important and what I've come to learn, I mean, I know I've only been a mother for 2 years. So like relative to many other people, my motherhood journey has just begun. But I had a really powerful moment when I was coming back from maternity leave. And I had been with my daughter, kind of just the two of us in the height of the pandemic. And I was like really lonely and craving some like adult interaction. And I was very excited to go back to work and really excited to kind of use my brain, and like tummy time is awesome. Don't get me wrong. But like, I wanted to like talk about campaigning and some strategy and I remember like preparing to go back to work, thinking about how much I'd already changed in those 4 months, because I like brought this human into the world who I could not understand how much I would come to love before she like joined us. And I remember it was like in that moment that I also gave myself permission to love me, Elizabeth, as much as I love her, because I felt that I would be a better mom, executive, etc., if I was like really, like if I treated myself with the same loving kindness and most importantly, patience that I treated my newborn child. And I just remember coming back from work and like feeling really energized because I had like given myself permission to not only obviously love my child, but to love me too. And I think it was like kind of liberating. And I think a lot of times as mothers, we put everyone else first. And I mean, you can ask everyone in my family. I have like a lot of me time, and that me time is really, really important. And I think like most people probably wouldn't say like I love me, but I think it's like I love like the time that I dedicate to myself so that I can show up in my best way for everyone else.
God, I feel like that's another first choice. Yeah. Like right, when you think about the journeys that we go on, I mean, you made such an intentional first choice there. And that choice to give yourself all the love, I think, is what is just profound. Flip it. I also believe that we get to choose to receive the love that others want to give us, whether that's acts of service, however that plays out. How does it feel when you choose to receive what others want to give?
I'm terrible at it. I hate surprises. I like to keep
I'm
my
not,
gifts.
yeah.
Like I'm really terrible at it. I'm too much of a control freak. So I'm like honestly like not great at it.
So, and it feels like,
It feels very
no.
uncomfortable for me.
And then do you ever, like, what are the times in which you do? Ever?
I mean, apparently I'm not great at it. Like the feedback has been it is an area of improvement.
Wait, which is not surprising because it's like you can give and give and give and give and give, and you have everything laid out the way you need it to have happen. And so, that's a space of, this doesn't feel quite comfortable.
No. I mean, my husband tried. This is so embarrassing. There was like a restaurant I really wanted to go to, and it was like impossible to get a reservation. And my husband surprised me, got a reservation, got my father to babysit our daughter, and was like, sent me an email and was like, be ready in 2 hours. And it like coincidentally was like the date we were moving apartments. And I was like, I so appreciate the gesture, but like I'm declining. Like I'm just not mentally prepared for this. I don't like surprises.
Not happening. You know what? That all goes back to the choice of making sure that you're taking care of yourself. Let's be clear. That's first and foremost.
Yeah,
with
I was like, A
do.
for effort, but like mediocre execution, babe.
Before I wrap us up, when I think about, so a lot of people will ask me, whether it's workshops or speaking, whatever it is, when I'm interacting with people, they'll say, well, how does giving love manifest itself at work? I get that question all the time, and then I always throw it back to them. And you've brought up during this conversation a couple of things that I think about, like listening to your client, delivering on what, the say-do ratio, do what you're going to say. And just while I have you here, thinking about the professional Elizabeth, how does giving love show up for you at work with your clients or your peers? And of course, you already gave those examples.
The two that come to mind, the first one is respect. I think it's respecting people's time. It's respecting people's perspectives. It's respecting people's identities. And I think when we show respect to our colleagues, it reflects our commitment to them as people and professionals. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing, which I don't think we do enough of across the board, and especially in the nonprofit sector, is celebrating accomplishments and celebrating successes. We celebrate birthdays and anniversaries with so much gusto, and yet like we should celebrate work anniversaries, and like you finished a big project and you got a big win for your campaign. Like celebrating successes is really important to me, and to be able to celebrate the successes of those that I manage and work with, to show them that like I see them, I see their hard work, I value their hard work, and I want to celebrate that hard work. To me, that's like one way to show love.
It's awesome. I know that there are many reasons why we may show up as humans withholding love or not receiving. There's so many. But what I ask everyone to consider is what if we showed up with the spirit, the spirit of, I'm coming into this conversation with Elizabeth with the intent and the spirit of giving you all my love and receiving all that you want to give me. And you are doing the same with all the people around you. And you clearly are. And like, what if we just did that a little more often? Like, how impactful could that be? Like, obviously, this is me reflecting on this, but how impactful could that be? I just think it could make little, small, incremental changes that could create big changes.
I agree. I think it would just contribute to a much kinder world. I think kindness is the word that we need more than ever. And I think to the extent in which each of us can do like 3 things for others, like 3 kindness actions, I think it goes a really long way.
And we're going to leave with that. 3 acts of kindness. It's beautiful. Elizabeth, thank you. Thank you for choosing to invest your time with me. Thank you for choosing to show up sharing all of Elizabeth. And I cannot wait for my communities and your communities to get a little peek, a little bit more into Elizabeth Abel.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate your thoughtful questions.
Thank you. Go enjoy your happy hour with your colleagues and your daughter in a little bit. All right. Thank you for joining me for our Choose and Become interview series. You could find this episode and others at trishkendall.com. Just go to trishkendall.com/choose-become-interview-series. Or if you have a question or just want to leave a comment, email me, trish@trishkendall.com.